Have you ever found yourself, really wrestling with those huge questions like, what is the world actually like? Or
hmm
what happens when we die? Is there even a soul? I mean, these questions, they've been around forever, haven't they?
Oh, absolutely. They're kind of the bedrock questions, the ones that keep philosophers and frankly all of us up at night sometimes.
Yeah,
Endless debate.
exactly. And often no easy answers.
Right.
So today we're doing a deep dive into this really fascinating ancient text. It's called the Aggivacchagottasuttaṃ.
Ah, yes, a classic.
It's this amazing dialogue. You've got the seeker, Vacchagotta, who's just consumed by these big mysteries, and he's talking to Gautama, the enlightened one.
And our goal here today, for you listening, isn't really to give you the answers to life, the universe, and everything.
Ah, probably a good thing.
Probably wise. Instead, we want to explore why, in this specific teaching, Gautama deliberately chooses not to answer certain questions.
Which is fascinating in itself, right? Because you'll find this really unique perspective here on, like, knowledge, belief, what liberation even means. It might actually shift how you approach these big questions yourself.
It's almost like a shortcut, in a way.
Yeah, a shortcut to understanding why sometimes the best move is just to admit, okay, my concepts don't quite cover this.
hmm Acknowledging the limits.
And all the stuff we're talking about today, it comes straight from an excerpt of this text, the two Aggivacchagottasuttaṃ. Okay, so let's get into it. Vacchagotta shows up, right?
Yeah.
And he doesn't mess around.
No preamble.
No, he goes straight for the really big ones. It's almost like he has a checklist, asking about the world, the soul, life after death.
He really does lay them out. There are 10 specific questions. You can kind of group them. First, you've got the world itself. Is it eternal or not eternal?
The classic cosmology stuff.
Exactly. Finite, infinite, trying to pin down the edges of reality.
Okay.
Then he zooms in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Is the soul or, life force the same thing as the body, or is it different?
The mind-body problem. Still wrestling with that one.
We certainly are. And then the third category, maybe the one that really gets people.
Yeah.
What happens to a liberated being, a Tathāgata, after death?
Right. The big finale.
Does the Tathāgata exist after death? Do they not exist? Do they both exist and not exist? Or
neither. He covers all the bases.
he covers all the logical possibilities, these kind of binary choices he presents.
And the amazing thing is Gautama's response to all 10 questions. It's the same. He just says, I do not hold such a view.
Consistent.
Super consistent. But it makes you wonder, right? Like, why? Why wouldn't a teacher just answer? Especially these burning questions. What's going on there?
Well, Vacchagotta wonders the same thing. He asks the follow-up. Why? What's the danger you see in holding views like these? He senses there's a reason for the refusal.
And this is where it gets really, really interesting. Because Gautama explains that the real issue is the act of holding the view, the clinging.
Yes. It's not just about whether the view is, factually correct in some ultimate sense. It's the attachment to it.
The attachment itself is the problem.
Exactly. He uses some really strong language. He calls these views dogmatic, a clinging, a thicket of views.
Like getting tangled up?
Yeah, precisely. An agitation, a contortion, even a fetter, like chains. It suggests being trapped.
Wow. And he says these views lead to bad places, right? Suffering, vexation.
Despair, feverishness. He paints a pretty clear picture of mental distress.
It makes me think of people today getting stuck in, endless online arguments, just wearing themselves out, chasing some absolute truth. Gautama seems to be saying that chase is the trap.
That's a very modern parallel, but yes, I think the principle holds. The key point he makes, the really practical bit, is that holding these views, they do not lead to disenchantment, dispassion, cessation, peace, direct knowledge, enlightenment, or nibbana.
So they just don't work. If your goal is liberation, these kinds of debates are actually a dead end.
That's the pragmatic core of it. It's not about whether the view is theoretically right or wrong, but does it help you get free from suffering? And his answer is clearly no.
Okay, so if Gautama doesn't hold these views, does he hold any views? I mean, he must teach something, right?
Right. That's the logical next question. And Gautama's answer is pretty radical. He says, the Tathāgata has put aside all view.
All views. Wow. So what does he teach instead?
Instead of fixed concepts, he teaches what can be directly seen and understood. It's a shift from, let's say, metaphysics to direct experience.
Okay, what does that look like?
He focuses on what he calls the 5 aggregates. That's form, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. basically the components of our experience.
Right.
And he teaches observation, like thus is form, thus is the origin of form, thus is the cessation of form. He does this for all 5.
So it's about watching how things arise and pass away, seeing the process?
Exactly. Seeing the dynamic flow, the impermanence, rather than getting stuck on a fixed idea of this is me or this is permanent.
And that's what leads to liberation.
That's the path he points to. He says that Tathāgata is liberated precisely because they've let go of all that, through the destruction, fading away, cessation, relinquishment, and abandonment of all conceivings, all ego and possessive tendencies, all pride.
So freedom comes from letting go of the mental habits that create those fixed ideas in the first place. Freedom from definition itself.
You could put it that way, a profound kind of unbinding.
Okay, but Vacchagotta, he's still struggling a bit, right? Even after this explanation.
He is. He loops back again to the liberated monk after death. Where are they reborn? Still trying to fit it into a category.
And Gautama gives the same 4 non-answers again, which leads Vacchagotta to basically say, okay, I'm lost, I'm confused now. And honestly, I can sympathize. It's hard to think outside those boxes of is or isn't.
It really is. He's stuck in a conceptual framework. And Gautama sees that it just doesn't apply here. The categories themselves are the problem.
So how does Gautama finally get through? He uses that brilliant analogy, doesn't he? The fire.
Yes, the fire analogy. It's so simple.
It's so
effective. He asks Vacchagotta, okay, imagine a fire burning right here.
Yeah.
You know it's burning.
Yep, obvious.
And what's making it burn? What was its fuel?
Grass and wood, Vacchagotta says, dependent on fuel.
Right. Then the fire goes out. Do you know it's gone out?
Yes, of course.
Okay, now the crucial question. That fire that went out, where did it go? Did it go east, west, north, south?
And if Vacchagotta himself gets it, he says, well, the question doesn't make sense. The fire burned because of the fuel, and the fuel ran out. It just went out, extinguished. It didn't go anywhere.
Exactly. The basis for its existence vanished. The question, where, becomes meaningless. And Gautama immediately connects it. Just so, Vacchagotta, he says, the Tathāgata, having abandoned the fuel of those 5 aggregates.
Form, feeling, perception, all that.
Right. Once that fuel is gone, you can't describe the Tathāgata in terms of existing or not existing, or both, or neither.
Yeah.
Those aggregates that define them are, as the text says, abandoned, uprooted, made like a palm stump, not liable to future arising.
Wow. Like the fire analogy, the very basis for asking, where did they go or do they exist, has just dissolved.
Precisely. That's why Gautama describes the state of a liberated being as deep, immeasurable, hard to fathom like the great ocean. Our usual measuring sticks, our concepts of existence and non-existence, just don't apply.
So it's a shortcut to seeing that maybe some questions we ask are based on faulty premises. They assume categories that don't fit the reality being discussed.
That's a key insight. All 4 possibilities exist, doesn't exist, both, neither, do not apply. It really forces you to question if our everyday language and concepts are always up to the task of describing ultimate reality.
So bringing this back, why should this ancient chat matter to you listening today? Navigating, the constant flood of information and opinions everywhere. What's the takeaway?
Well, I think this deep dive really highlights the danger, the suffering involved in rigidly clinging to speculative views, especially ones about things we can't really know for sure.
Right. It distracts us.
It does. And it teaches us to maybe shift our focus, prioritize direct observation, seeing how our own minds and experiences work, the arising and ceasing, rather than getting lost in fixed beliefs about ultimate realities that might be, frankly, unprovable.
So it's a practical way to cut through the mental noise, focus on what actually leads to peace, right here and now.
I think so. It encourages a focus on the process, on what can be experienced, rather than getting stuck in conceptual knots.
And Vacchagotta, he finally gets it, right? There's that beautiful image at the end.
Yes. He has this complete shift. He compares Gautama's teaching to a huge salad tree. He says it's like the tree shedding all the extra stuff, the branches, the bark, the outer wood, until only the essential part remains.
The pure heartwood.
The pure heartwood, signifying the core essential truth of the Dhamma, the teaching, stripped bare of unnecessary speculation.
That's powerful, and it changes him.
Completely. He declares he takes refuge in Gautama, the teaching, the community. He becomes a lay follower right then and there. It shows the transformative power of letting go of those rigid views and finding that simpler, more direct path.
So the big lesson here maybe is that real wisdom isn't always about having all the answers. Sometimes it's about knowing which questions tie you up in knots.
Understanding which questions might be ill-formed or which ones lead away from liberation, not towards it.
And focusing instead on what you can directly experience, what you can work with to find freedom, letting go of those conceptual boxes that limit us.
It's a shift from intellectual knowing about things to direct experiential understanding.
So maybe something for you to think about. How often do we chase definite answers to questions that might actually be unanswerable with our current tools? Or maybe asking those questions is the very thing keeping us from seeing a clearer path.
It's a great reflection. What views, what fixed ideas might you be clinging to that cause stress or frustration? And what might it feel like to just loosen your grip on them, let them go?